Hello, everyone. Welcome to one of the many facets of our channel, one section of videos. This one is called Let's Talk About.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about stuff.
this
Let's
is
do it. Let's talk about it.
shorter
Yes, this is gonna be
than
probably somewhere in the range of 10 to 20
something
minutes, we're
like the
hoping.
Academy.
Yeah. Shorter than that, a little bit different, a little more, specialized than stuff on the Academy as well. This is where we just we pick a topic for the week and we just kind of talk about it, just kind of stream of consciousness, our thoughts for 10 to 20 minutes. We're just gonna kind of get into that and kind of demonstrate to you what that's gonna be like. And the first topic we're gonna talk about is something very topical, right now as of the time of releasing this video, which is OneD&D.
Yeah,
Which is kind of the newest, I guess we'll talk about it. It's the newest kind of rules adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons, released by Wizards of the Coast. It's sort of, I think, what its kind of goal is to kind of integrate a lot of things from, basically streamline a lot of different versions of things into kind of one thing. Kind of make it all grouped together and kind of homogenous going forward. Anything can be workable here.
yeah.
There are a lot of, they released the first several pages of playtest content, playtest rules, new tweaks to some races. Some people are really happy about these, some people are really mad, some people are happy about some of it, and less happy about other stuff.
Yeah.
There are some rules that I think are kind of universally regarded as bad, which will probably change by the time they release the full thing. Obviously, this is all playtest, and no one has to use this, and if you would prefer to keep using the 5e rules, they've said that you're welcome to, and I don't know why they would try to stop you. I have some thoughts about several of the rules.
As do I.
They changed inspiration, didn't they? Is that one of the things they changed, or what did they change that I'm thinking?
Well, let me just go through the list.
Okay, yeah. Let's go through the list of things they changed.
Sorry, I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
Cut this out. It's fine.
Okay. So, all backgrounds now provide a feat.
Yeah, I think that's a great change.
Most of them already do.
They'd have, stuff, but not feeds.
No, a lot of them. Oh! I misread this. Yes. Yeah. All backgrounds now provide feats, which is
a huge deal.
useful.
That's a big change, actually, yeah. They used to provide, vague abilities and stuff that was, more likely to happen based on that background, but now they all give you a feat directly, which is super cool.
Orcs are also now a core race.
Yeah, that's awesome. They changed a lot of kind of different rules, tweaking some stuff that was kind of maybe house rule before.
Dwarves have conditional tremor sense.
Which is super cool. They changed the Dragonborn breath weapon. I don't know if that's the next thing on your list.
Tieflings, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So options based on lower plane legacies.
Yes. They simplified that down a little bit, but they made it cooler. They made it easier to kind of keep track of. I actually like the Tiefling changes a lot.
Tieflings can actually now be small.
Oh, they can be small?
Yeah, based on...
Or little! Oh, we're gonna have to mess around with a very tiny Tiefling sometime now. I didn't realize they could be small. That's cute. Okay.
But the most exciting race thing, I think, of all is there's a new race.
Yeah, it's the... Is that similar to the Aasimar one?
Yeah, Ardlings. Not worse Aasimar.
Worse
That's
Aasimar.
not what they're called.
I don't quite like them as much as I like standard Aasimar. I think the idea is cool. I'd like to keep both.
They have an animal face, which is...
fine but weird.
I think we'll keep both, but...
I think keeping both would be nice.
I can think of no reason why I would play an Ardling over an Aasimar.
Yeah. Unless I really wanted to go for the aesthetic. I'm not actually personally a huge fan of, humans with animal heads, basically. Humanoid builds with animal heads. That's just a thing I don't particularly like, so I don't super care about it. I think some of their abilities are neat, but that's not really my scene otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other changes have they made?
So, they have made... encourage the use of hybrid races.
Yeah, which I do think that's cool.
Players choose a base race for traits and then describe the piece's appearance as a blend.
Yeah.
So you kind of base off which race you want, and then you can physically describe your appearance as a blend. I have homebrewed several half races, which makes you kind of cry that they've made it this streamlined, but...
That's kind of annoying. But, if you want it to be more of a mix of two things instead of just the appearance, you can do that. You can still homebrew that. That's the thing you can do. We do it.
So, that's all the racial stuff.
They changed the Dragonborn's breath weapon. That's racial.
Yeah, that's not on here for some reason.
Wild. They changed the Dragonborn's breath weapon, so I think it's like a... It might be like a d6 plus your level or something like that now. Something like that. It's a roll, I think, plus like your level, which a lot of people are mad about because they think it's worse. I think I saw a table or a calculation or something on Reddit that basically said it's actually better at every level except the ones where it's the same.
Thank you. Because this list, for some reason, totally doesn't have it on.
Yeah. I remember it enough to know because I was on the D&D subreddit when this dropped in. People were kind of mad. But I think it's actually fine. It looks bad at a glance, I think, is why people don't like it. But I think if you do the math, it actually shakes out fine. Pretty similar. It's probably just a more streamlined formula.
I agree. So anything on the races?
Doesn't scale like cantrips anymore.
Anything on the races before we move on?
Honestly, I think I kind of just covered it when we were talking about it. I do like how they separate the Tiefling bloodlines. I actually kind of also like how they separate the Ardling stuff. I just don't like Ardling aesthetic as much as Aasimar.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the, like, angel trope. I don't like the animal stuff. I think that kind of makes me feel weird about it.
But
I'm a sucker for, like, angel demon aesthetics.
The most animalistic human I like,
Is there anything of ones I even like?
Probably like a human with animal traits.
Yeah.
Like,
I like cat girls.
Yeah.
I like cat girls.
we've played Kenra before and we've liked them.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
But, like, there's stuff that, like, gets into more of stuff like Loxodon and stuff that I'm like, I think those are less.
Yeah.
I don't think they're uncool. I had someone in a game that I DM'd when I was very early into this is before I met you, who played a Loxodon. I think they were a ranger. And I actually thought their character was super cool. I just don't like the aesthetic very much. But that's not a big deal.
So backgrounds are now significantly more important.
Yes, they're more important. They give you feats. They matter more to your stuff.
And they're slightly easier to homebrew.
Yeah, which is nice. Backgrounds felt so irrelevant to me before that at some point I basically just started putting 2 applicable proficiencies on my sheet and saying fuck it.
2 proficiencies, a little bit of gear.
Yeah.
A minor, like, feature.
Yeah. Just something that made sense for a character to be able to do.
Now, and I am so happy about this change. Mm-hmm. That is where you get your +2, +1 to ability
I think that's awesome. For the most part.
Because
it makes sense.
In real life, there are no racial mental bonuses.
And it's a little bit racist to say it. And I kind of vaguely get it for fantasy, and I guess it's also kind of a holdover from when that was, like, more fine. Yeah. But I think it makes more sense that if you're training your strength, or even if you're training your intelligence or something, the more you practice it, the better at it you'll be. It doesn't just come from being hot if you have a good charisma stat.
Yeah, like, I kind of
You can be hot and super shitty of a person.
I kind of see a vague point if you are looking at this from a perspective of, well, orcs are naturally beefier.
Yeah.
But you're telling me, like, I'm going to take a character that we love to play. Yeah. We haven't played her on camera at all. No. Her name is Dimitra.
Yes. I love her.
She is a Kalashtar fighter.
And there is no reason for her not to have +2 strength, except for the fact that Kalashtar don't get that bonus.
Yes.
She is a fighter. She has trained herself with the sword since she was a little kid. There's no reason for her to have a higher, like, wisdom score or an intelligence score, which I think is a bonus as Kalashtar get, except for the fact that that's what the book says. It doesn't make sense.
I am not saying at all that this is a thing that WotC intentionally did.
Yeah.
But the implication that some races are smarter than others, naturally. Yeah, I kind of get for physical, I kind of get for charisma even. But...
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that, like, if you're an Aasimar, it makes sense that you're more charismatic by virtue of, like, people revere you for being holy or whatever. But, like, you can't say that people are smarter because they're one race or another. It's bad. It gets bad. And especially stuff that's like, I'll just use an example. Like High Elves versus Drow having an int versus charisma bonus, kind of makes me a little yikes.
Yeah.
Like, saying that high elves get an intelligence bonus because they're the most, like, formal, noble-esque of races is kind of a bad thing, I think.
And maybe on average there are more scholarly high elves.
Because they're more educated,
but
they have more opportunity.
High elves are naturally smarter. So I love this change.
I love this change. I think it's an awesome change.
And it's not restrictive at all because you can make your own.
Yeah. If you feel like something needs to apply differently.
You can make your own background.
And even if you wanted to take the same background and say, okay, this is slightly different, like, if you have, like, a soldier background, and it's like, oh, you get +2 strength, +1 con, or something. I don't know if this is exactly how it works. You could say, okay, well, I was a soldier, but I had used dex fighting, so it's +2 dex, +1 con, or something like that. You can change that. There's a lot of room to change it. It makes it a lot easier to change without people getting mad at you.
So, equipment packages... This is a really basic one. I don't want to spend too much time on it. They're all equalized value now.
Yeah, which is great.
Fine change.
I'm fine with that.
Backgrounds give you a first level feat.
Yep, awesome.
Which, fantastic.
They've added some feats. They've changed some feats. They changed the lucky feat. Good. It was overpowered.
Yeah.
I don't do feats very much. I don't touch it super often, except in games where I think it makes a ton of sense to.
Feats are also now leveled.
Yes, which I think is super cool.
It also is so much less overwhelming for a new player.
Yes, I think that's
And for old players, I don't like taking feats when I do human. I prefer the +1. Yeah. Because I'm overwhelmed looking at the whole list.
Yeah, it's a long list of stuff. And you don't really know quite what'll apply to you at first level in a lot of ways. So it makes sense to have it done that way instead. It gives you time to build out your character and figure out what they'll want later. Which I think is a nice change. So what else is on this list?
So some elements of the 5e races are now in backgrounds.
Yeah.
So for example, dwarf now has cultural instead of racial distinctions between mountain and hill dwarves.
Interesting.
Elves, however, do maintain their sub-races, so it kind of depends on what race.
That makes sense, yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of, because
I agree, yeah.
I think drow should function a different way.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I agree with that, yeah. They removed sunlight sensitivity.
Yes.
Isn't that a thing?
That was previous to 1.
Oh, okay.
D&D.
Sorry, I thought that was a 1D&D thing.
No,
Never mind. I'm still happy about it.
Yes.
I'm still happy they removed sunlight sensitivity. That shit's stupid as hell.
They've also added some things that are meant to work alongside Monsters of the Multiverse.
Which is cool.
So, Draugr and Sea Elves are in OneD&D.
Oh, awesome. Sea Elves. Yes. I love Sea Elves.
Sea? Elves.
Sea? Elves, yeah. That's a joke we made in a game a long time ago, and it stuck.
Real quick here, there are a few more, like, design philosophy things going forward. Some changes to some of the feats.
I don't think that's a super big
No.
deal. One of the big changes they made is the spell list thing. Is that on there?
Well, I'll get to that in 1 sec.
Oh, okay.
So, there's some design philosophy things I just want to touch on real quick, is that they wanted to make no feats useless to some people. Like, Healer was now useful providing healing ability even to people that are non-spellcasters.
That's useful.
So they wanted to make no feat totally useless if you're just one star of the class.
I really like that. I think that's a great change.
Another part of the design philosophy is that feats should be beneficial to the PC or to the group as a whole. So, in addition to bonus initiative from Alert, for example, you can swap initiative with another character when initiative is rolled.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that stuff.
Feats are also used to fill gaps in things like proficiency. So, Musician, which is a new feat, you can get proficiency in 3 musical instruments, and whenever you finish short or long rest, you can give inspiration to people who hear your performance.
Oh, cool.
The feat not only fills a gap in the feat list, but is also useful to bards.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you for that specific text, because someone summarized this on Reddit, and I will actually call them out. Bluegrass Geek is their username.
Okay.
Who I've been using as kind of a vague guide for this. On r/D&D next.
Yes.
The Magic Initiate is another thing I want to touch on real quick. It gets you 3 first-level spells, and you can also cast those spells with your spell slots for upcasting.
Cool.
So yeah,
that's super cool.
There's some design philosophy tweaks that I really like here. Universal Spell List.
Yes. Universal Spell List.
Arcane Divine Primal.
Yeah, I think that's super neat. I think that's a super cool change.
And the idea
is that
Arcane Divine pulls from the multiverse.
Yeah.
Divine pulls from the outer planes, and Primal pulls from the inner planes.
I think that's really cool, the way they describe that. I like that a lot.
And I love the idea of universal spell lists.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that is a fantastic change. I never would have thought of it, but I think it's a fantastic change.
Yeah, I do too. think that's a great way to kind of make that more streamlined and standardized.
Yeah.
Is there anything else cool in this list?
Inspiration.
Yes. Okay, cool. I was right about that.
So you can gain inspiration by rolling a 20 on an ability check, saving throw, or attack.
Yeah.
So critting, basically.
Yeah.
The idea behind it being that characters are bolstered from success.
Yeah.
But you cannot stockpile. Still.
And it goes away at the end of a long rest, right?
Yes. But you can get it again and give it to another character.
That's cool.
Which is the...
Yeah,
really
as
fantastic.
a kind of encouragement thing.
Yes.
Which I like. I still feel like you should also be able to get inspiration from good roleplay, and I guess you can still do that if you want.
Yes. You can. You can do both.
You can get inspiration from anything you want if you really want to give it that way, still.
Humans gain inspiration after a long rest.
Huh. That's cool.
They want to push the use of inspiration instead of hoarding it and holding onto it. Which I love. I think it's fantastic.
I think that's great, yeah. I really like that they kind of bolster you from success with that. I like the way that that's designed. I think that's cool.
Sometimes when you're human, success is waking up in the morning.
Real. So true. That's meant to emulate real life instead of fantasy.
So, you cannot crit on spell attacks.
That's stupid.
Yes, I agree.
That's stupid. One of the coolest things that has ever happened in a game we have done was someone critting and inflict wounds and just beating the shit out of somebody. That was awesome. You can't do that anymore? That's stupid. I think you should be able to crit on everything.
Yes.
I think if you roll max damage on a fireball, it does double damage. I think you get like 96 or whatever.
I fundamentally disagree with removing crits from spells.
I thought you were going to say I disagree with double fireball damage, which you shouldn't. It's a terrible idea. If you roll max damage on a spell, you get to do double if it's a DC spell.
They made a change I didn't even know was a thing.
Which is?
You can now crit unarmed strikes.
Could you not before? Apparently not. What if you're like... Okay, so monks just can't crit now. I see.
I think monks could previously, but I think...
Oh. Well, I'm glad that they changed that.
I don't know what that...
I didn't think that was a thing that you couldn't do.
Okay. Also...
That's fine.
DM-controlled characters can no longer crit. Only characters.
I think you can decide however you want to do that. I think a lot of people are mad about that because it's fun for DMs to roll natural 20s too. I'm sad about that. I love when Strahd crits a PC and just fucking obliterates them.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And admittedly, I am the kind of person who will never fudge a roll.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, some people are like that, and some people might prefer it that way because of that. But I like my players to face consequences for their actions, like doing stupid things in combat. Or to instigate combat.
I understand why they did, but I will never
use that. Yeah. That will always be something we don't change.
So, something that we have played with the house rule as for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 1 is an auto-fail on ability checks, and Nat 20 is an auto-success on ability checks.
Be happy about that. Some people aren't, I am.
Some people are furious, but we've used it as a house rule for years.
Yeah.
Here at College of Lore.
Yes.
And it is business as usual for us. That being said, I want to briefly... A natural 20 on a... If a natural 1 shouldn't be an auto-fail, you shouldn't be rolling for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's dumb that just because your modifier is slightly higher, you know, if you roll a natural 1 that's 6, and someone rolls a 4, which is a 2 plus their 2 mod, you beat them still.
Yeah,
I think
that's dumb.
Dumb. And if it's literally impossible to fail, don't roll.
Yeah.
It is impossible to succeed, don't roll. But the best possible interpretation, you know, I want to give an example of your player decides to ask the king for his kingdom.
Yes.
For his throne.
Yeah.
And rolls a nat 20 on persuasion. That doesn't mean that your character is now the king. That means that the king laughs it off as a joke.
Instead of being like, hey, that's treason, you're going to jail.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You can do that as an auto success, but it's not like you get everything you want, it's the best possible outcome.
It is the best possible outcome, not the exact outcome the player wants.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to kind of rule that. That's kind of how we play things.
Yeah. I think it's how they want you to rule it. So yeah, that is about what we have.
I think there's some really great changes, I think there's some really bad changes, and that's the point of them releasing it as playtest. We will work these kinks out later.
Yeah,
And we will probably do another video on this when more playtest stuff comes out.
100% this is playtest material. This is not final. This is not D&D 6e.
Yeah.
This is not D&D 1st e because that was released a while ago. How did you get here?
How did this happen?
The fact that it is not called D&D 1 frustrates me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called OneD&D. I think it should be called D&D 1.
D&D to rule them all.
Yeah.
But I like most of the changes. I don't like the spell crit rule. That's about it. I don't care about the Ardling.
Yeah. I'll stick with Aasimar unless I want to make an Ardling somehow.
We are thinking, and we've been thinking over the course of this video, of maybe doing some OneD&D playtesting on the channel.
Yeah.
Let us know if you're interested in that.
Yes. Let us know your thoughts on all of these changes.
Yeah. Have you played OneD&D yet? If you have, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, how did this stuff like some of those rules work out for you?
How'd you get your group together that quickly? It's fairly new.
Yeah.
But yeah, do let us know how you like the rules, what you think of the new rules, any play experience with them.
Anything that you want to change or implement in different ways. Yeah.
Check out our actual play,
where we use some of these rules already.
Yes, and we may do some OneD&D content.
Yeah.
And check us out on our other channel, our College of Lore shorts.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. We're gonna do a lot more of these. We've got some really cool stuff to talk about with you all. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Yay, videos! Yay! Alright.
Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.